The average American household spent $2,000 last year just on cooling. 4 feet below your lawn, there is a temperature the sun cannot reach. The gas industry spent billions making sure you never used it. This is the Build Guide. We build what they buried. So what is actually happening 4 to 6 feet below your lawn? And why does it change everything about how you think about cooling your home? The surface of the Earth heats and cools in a wave driven by the sun and the seasons. In July, the top layer roasts. In January, it freezes. But that temperature wave does not travel straight down through the dirt at full strength. It weakens and it slows as it goes deeper, governed by a property of soil called thermal diffusivity. For moist soil, thermal diffusivity runs at roughly 0.5 millimeter squared per second. That number sounds small. It is. And that is exactly why it matters. The result is a ground temperature at 4 to 6 feet of depth that stabilizes close to the local annual average, typically between 55 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit across the continental United States and around 68 to 75 degrees in the American Southwest. In Phoenix in July, the outdoor air hits 110 degrees Fahrenheit. The soil 4 feet below the garden is sitting at around 70 degrees. That is a 40-degree difference, and the system that uses it costs a fraction of what the machine fighting it costs to run. A summer heat wave hitting the surface takes months to propagate down to 4 feet of depth. By the time that July heat actually reaches the soil around a buried pipe, it is already October, and the surface has cooled back off. The ground is permanently running about 6 months behind the weather above it. The soil temperature at depth at any given moment is the average of what the surface experienced 6 months ago. And the average of 6 months ago is the annual mean temperature of the location. In most of the continental United States, that sits between 53 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit depending on latitude. Moist soil also stores roughly 2.5 megajoules of thermal energy per cubic meter per degree Celsius of temperature change. A trench 20 meters long and 2 meters deep holds enough thermal buffering capacity to absorb a small cooling system's output for several hours without changing the surrounding soil temperature. And because the surface heat wave arrives 6 months late, that capacity is constantly refilled by weather that already happened half a year earlier. The ground underneath your lawn is not just cool, it simply cannot match the surface temperature extremes above it. The physics will not allow it, and that has been measured continuously across multiple continents for over 50 years. Researchers at the Courtright Centre, a passive building research facility in southern Ontario, monitored buried earth tubes over 8 consecutive summers. Each tube 20 meters long, buried 2 meters deep. Outside air entering at 90 degrees, Fahrenheit on a July afternoon exited at 59 degrees. A 31-degree drop, no compressor, no refrigerant. 8 summers without losing efficiency. That is the basic system, a buried pipe moving air, and it is useful. But it is the beginning of what the ground can do, not the full picture. So what happens when you stop moving air through the ground and start moving liquid instead? There are 3 ways to cool a home using the ground as a thermal resource, and understanding the difference between them is the part of this science that nobody in the cooling industry has any interest in explaining clearly. The first is the earth tube, which is what the Courtright Centre measured. Air travels through a buried pipe, absorbs heat from the surrounding soil, and enters the building pre-cooled. It works. It is passive. It costs under $300 to build. But it has a ceiling. Air has a low heat capacity, meaning it cannot carry large amounts of thermal energy per unit of volume. An earth tube can pre-cool air by 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit in good conditions, which reduces the load on a mechanical cooling system, but does not eliminate it in a hot climate. A ground source heat pump is where the physics changes category entirely. A ground source heat pump does not move air through the ground. It circulates liquid, typically water mixed with an antifreeze compound, through a loop of pipe buried 4 to 6 feet underground. That liquid absorbs heat from the ground loop, carries it to a heat exchanger inside the building, and a refrigerant cycle then amplifies that temperature differential to deliver cooling or heating to the building's air distribution system. The buried loop is closed. The liquid circulates continuously. Nothing is consumed except electricity to run the pump and the compressor. And here is the number that changes everything. A conventional air conditioner is working against outdoor air that might be 100 degrees Fahrenheit on a summer afternoon. Its compressor has to move heat from your indoor space into that 100-degree outdoor environment. That is hard work for a refrigerant system, which is why conventional air conditioning has a coefficient of performance, meaning units of heat moved per unit of electricity consumed, of roughly 2 to 3 in peak summer conditions. A ground source heat pump is working against ground that is sitting at 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Moving heat from your indoor space into 55-degree ground is dramatically easier than moving it into 100-degree air. The coefficient of performance of a ground source heat pump in cooling mode runs between 3 and 5. Air source heat pumps, the cooling industry's current preferred alternative, work on the same refrigerant principle but exchange heat with outdoor air rather than the ground. In mild climates, they perform well. In a Phoenix summer, an air source unit is still working against 110-degree outdoor air. Better than a conventional air conditioner, but nowhere near as favorable as 70-degree ground. Their coefficient of performance in peak desert conditions drops to roughly 2 to 2.5. The ground source system running beside it scores 3 to 5. The ground wins because the ground does not have bad days. The U.S. Department of Energy has confirmed that ground source heat pumps are typically 300 to 500% more efficient than conventional electric resistance systems and significantly more efficient than standard air source heat pumps in extreme summer conditions. 70% reduction in cooling energy consumption. That is the documented outcome from well-designed ground source installations across multiple climate zones. Not a projection, a measured average from operational systems. So the hierarchy is clear. Earth tube reduces load, but does not replace cooling in extreme climates. Ground source heat pump works in every climate all year, with the highest efficiency of any thermal technology available to a residential homeowner, and it has been commercially available since the 1940s. The fact that less than 2% of American homes use one is not an accident. In 1897, a German architect named Heinrich Schaller, working in the Rhine Valley, published a paper on what he called the Erdkanal, pronounced Erdka na HL, meaning the Earth Channel. Schaller documented underground air tempering tunnels in old German farmhouses operating continuously since the early 1700s. The physics he described is identical to what the Ontario researchers measured 120 years later. Ground temperature at depth is stable. Moving fluid through that depth captures thermal energy. The loop does the work. German-speaking settlers carried this knowledge to Pennsylvania in the early 1700s. Those settlers became the Pennsylvania Amish. In Lancaster County today, there are farmhouses still standing with original clay pipe earth air systems visible in their stone foundations. The Amish did not preserve this out of nostalgia. They preserved it because it works, it costs nothing to run, and it answers to no utility company in any season. In 1947, the United States Department of Agriculture published Farmer's Bulletin number 1918, titled Ventilation of Farm Buildings, with a full section on underground air inlets describing burial depth, pipe diameter, and drainage requirements. Federal letterhead, distributed to agricultural extension offices across 48 states. Your own government told every farmer in America how to use the ground to cool a building for 15 cents. Then it quietly vanished from every major building guide written after 1960. Natural gas infrastructure expanded massively through the American Midwest between 1950 and 1970. The pipelines reached every small town in the region by 1963. Gas furnaces became the default residential heating option. Forced air central cooling followed in the 1960s as electric utilities pushed their summer load. Every piece of that rollout had an industry advocate, a manufacturer, and a financing chain behind it. Underground thermal systems had none of those things. They required no ongoing purchase and generated no recurring revenue. They simply fell out of the manuals. But the disappearance of the knowledge was not just passive neglect. What happened after 2020 was something more deliberate. In March of 2020, the American Gas Association held an internal planning meeting. The minutes from that meeting became public through a series of investigative reports. In those minutes, the association named passive thermal alternatives and ground source heat pumps as an existential threat to natural gas use in residential buildings. Their stated response was not to compete with better technology. It was to make the alternative harder to build. What followed is documented legislation. Since 2020, the gas industry and its aligned trade groups pushed preemption bills through more than 25 state legislatures. Those bills prevent cities and towns from encouraging, incentivizing, or permitting passive thermal systems and heat pump alternatives through local building code. When researchers ran the text of those state bills through plagiarism detection software, the language was nearly identical across Utah, Texas, Arizona, and Louisiana. The same phrasing introduced by different legislators within weeks of each other. One Utah representative, when asked where the bill came from, stated plainly that he became aware of it from his local gas supplier. The main cooling industry trade body, which represents nearly every major residential air conditioning manufacturer in the country, has spent decades ensuring that no building code category exists to classify a ground source heat pump or earth tube as a primary recognized cooling system. No category means no approval pathway. No approval pathway means no contractor will specify it. And if no contractor specifies it, the average homeowner never hears about it. Two industries, two different revenue streams. One shared interest in making sure the ground under your lawn never becomes your cooling system. The gas industry suppresses ground source heat pumps because they eliminate gas heating. The cooling equipment industry suppresses them because they reduce electricity consumption for cooling by 70%. The combined United States heating and cooling equipment industry generates over $200 billion annually, including the original equipment sale, the repair cycle, the replacement cycle, the refrigerant, the warranty extension, and the utility share. A ground source heat pump threatens every single revenue line on that list simultaneously. The physics is 75 years old and it still works. What it does to a 30-year energy bill is the part the industry really does not want you to calculate. The installation does not require a contractor, an engineer, or a professional quote. Here is what it actually involves. A basic closed-loop ground source heat pump system for a 2,000 square foot home requires between 500 and 1,500 feet of buried pipe in horizontal trenches 4 to 6 feet deep, or a series of vertical boreholes reaching 100 to 400 feet down if the lot is too small for horizontal loops. The heat pump unit itself sits inside the building where a conventional air handler would sit. It connects to the buried loop on one side and the building's air distribution system on the other. Installed cost for a complete residential ground source system runs between $10,000 and $30,000, depending on lot size, soil conditions, and system capacity. That figure is higher than a conventional air conditioning replacement. It is the number the cooling industry leads with every time the conversation comes up. It is also, when placed next to the 30-year operating cost, the less relevant of the two numbers. A household currently spending $2,000 a year on cooling reduces that bill by approximately $1,400 per year with a ground source heat pump. Over 30 years, that is $42,000 in avoided cooling costs before accounting for rising electricity prices. Federal tax credits currently available for ground source heat pump installation cover 30% of the installed cost. A $20,000 installation costs $14,000 after the credit. The payback period at $1,400 per year in savings is under 10 years. The system then keeps running at the same efficiency for 25 years or more because the ground does not degrade and the buried loop requires no maintenance. It is the third week of July in Tucson, Arizona. The outdoor thermometer reads 107 degrees Fahrenheit. You pull into the driveway of a house that was built in 2009 with a closed-loop ground source heat pump, No outdoor condenser unit sits against the wall. No box humming on the side of the building. Nothing outside except the lawn, the street, and the July sun. You step inside. The air is cool, deeply, steadily cool, in a way that is different from the blast of a window unit, even throughout the room. The thermostat on the wall reads 72 degrees Fahrenheit. You walked in from 107. Somewhere in the yard outside, liquid is circulating through 500 feet of buried pipe sitting in soil at around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That liquid is carrying heat from the building downward into the ground and releasing it into soil that is 37 degrees cooler than the outdoor air. The heat pump inside is doing the same work as a conventional air conditioner, but doing it against 70-degree ground instead of 107-degree air. Its compressor is running at a fraction of the load. The electricity meter is moving at roughly 1/3 the speed it would move for a conventional system cooling the same space on the same afternoon. Outside 107, inside 72, 35 degrees of separation. The electricity meter running at 1/3 the speed of every conventional air conditioner on the street. The system that created this has been available to every homeowner in America since before the Korean War. The industry that profits from the alternative made sure most of them never heard it explained. The ground under your lawn does not degrade. The buried loop carries a 50-year warranty. The system runs at 300 to 500% the efficiency of the machine currently in your utility room, documented by the Department of Energy, available since 1945, and confirmed by your own government on federal letterhead in 1947. The gas industry called it an existential threat in a meeting they thought was private. They were right. The ground was always the answer. They just made sure you kept paying for the question. Next on the build guide, the ground loop, the solar chimney, the rammed earth wall. Every system we have covered on this channel is part of a longer list that architects stopped teaching. Next, we are going through 5 of them. 5 ancient cooling techniques that have been keeping buildings comfortable in the harshest climates on Earth for centuries, that cost almost nothing to build, and that the modern construction industry quietly dropped from every curriculum written after 1960. If any of the videos on this channel have changed how you think about what your home could be, that one will finish the job. Subscribe and hit the bell. You will not want to miss what comes next.